Here's your host, Terra Brantley.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Some of you have asked why Wayne 15 does this special. We do it because for a long time, the history and accomplishments of African Americans were largely left out of history books. As our nation has evolved, we have come together to recognize a month that celebrates diversity and community service. And some who paved the way will be featured tonight. We begin with a Fort Wayne veteran who comes from a long line of freedom fighters. In fact, he has revolutionary roots that he learned about right here at the Allen County Public Library.
Most of my life was full of challenges but opportunities, and the goal is to turn those challenges into opportunities.
And that's what Dr. Al Brothers did.
Initially went through our Air Force ROTC at Boston University, and then from the Air Force ROTC program into pilot training.
This former Air Force captain and son of a World War II veteran was a pilot in the Vietnam War.
So I was there between 1970 and 1972, flying B-52s and then B-57s. I was one of the youngest aircraft commanders at the time, flying B-52s.
He has shared his Vietnam memories with many, including this interview with PBS 39, Fort Wayne's public television station.
I'm one of the few guys that had to do manual refueling in a B-52. That's the B-57G, yeah?
Recently, this 76-year-old shared those memories and more with me at the Allen County Public Library. The Air Force retiree moved to Fort Wayne from Massachusetts and became an engineer for a company now called Raytheon. It's here where he rose to what you could call a revolutionary challenge.
It was a challenge at Raytheon. We have a diversity committee and everything else, and they wanted more information about African Americans in the military. So my challenge was in 30 minutes to try to give a brief synopsis of African Americans all the way from the Revolutionary War all the way up through World War II.
That brief project led to extensive research at the library's Genealogy Center, and Brothers uncovered a long line of his relatives dating back to the Revolutionary War before America got her stars and stripes. How many did you have in the Revolutionary War and how many in the Civil War?
I had two in the Revolutionary War and 31 in the Civil War. And all the 31 were freeborn and living in New England. All of them were on my grandmother's side, and then that's on my father's side. And her family were the ones that were really involved. The 54th and the Massachusetts 55th and the 5th Colored Cavalry out of Massachusetts, all three of them.
The Academy Award-winning movie Glory told the story of the 54th.
The movie Glory was an interesting one, but it gave a slightly false impression. When I saw Glory, I thought that the 54th was wiped out. Only 200 men were killed in the 54th.
Brothers' relatives were among them.
And they went through so much, in their lives, and their lives are so beautiful.
Like Brothers, I also utilize the resources here at the Genealogy Center. Through a DNA program the library hosted in the summer of 2018 in Fort Wayne, I learned my great-great-grandfather on my father's side also fought in the Civil War.
Your second great-grandfather, Robert Reedus, was born into slavery, grabbed his chance and fought for the Union in the 110th United States Colored Troops. Ended up essentially giving his life in that battle, being taken prisoner, contracting tuberculosis, and not living long after the war.
It took months for a team of genealogists to trace my heritage. For Brothers, it's still going on. In addition to researching his heritage, he now helps others trace theirs, teaching a class offered by the Midwest African American Genealogy Institute in partnership with the Allen County Public Library.
It covers the gamut from DNA, doing military research, to doing all kinds of research relative to your family.
Al Brothers revealing hidden history and finding his place in it.
Take a look and see what did your ancestors do? Whether it's here in the United States or someplace else, because it gives you a better understanding of who you are, because they help build a background for who you came to be.
Brothers will hold his next class this summer. You can find a link to get more information by going to this story on Wayne.com. Simply click on Hidden History. Coming up, Fort Wayne's connection to the Underground Railroad.
Indiana's Hidden History is brought to you by the Cuesta Education Foundation.